CPS has gone rogue, and they are stealing children by the thousands for Title IV funding, no other reason. Well, the incentivizing of adoption by American Safe Family Act from the Clintons that gives caseworkers bonuses for stealing kids and adopting them. They tear apart families by removing fathers and weakening the family structure. Sure, there are groups out there helping families, but we question the purpose and are realizing that so many are taking advantage of the victims of this CPS machine. They pretend they are something. They are not, just to get popularity, to monetize for profit, and do this leading others down a rabbit hole of false information. This is dangerous and unacceptable. Here comes the CPS punisher and CPS victims hunting justice with the purpose to protect the victims so they can no longer be taken advantage of by a government or a mob. Creators that are trying to make money from you, be aware. The CPS punisher and Melissa will be here to protect you and defraud all these people taking advantage. Watch CPS victims hunting justice on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. We are coming for all those foreign and domestic. We are ready to hunt those ruining so many lives and end this pain. Then ask the Lord for forgiveness. If you are one, be afraid. Be very afraid.
Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. This suggests children are a precious gift from God to be valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is taken into DHS, CPS, and so on custody. The reality is their pics are already selected, you just don't know it. Being perfect no longer matters. It's what the adopting families are looking for.
Who is it stealing the children, you ask?
From caseworker to the White House, the buck stops at all levels, just not where it is supposed to be. The services your family needs, we the people have paid for to ensure your reunification. Title IV says, reunify at all costs. United, we stand means nothing to us when it comes to family values. Children are being ripped away from their families. Parents are reverting to addictive behaviors to cover the pain. The trauma caused by child removal is just being recognized, and the results are atrocious. Termination of parental rights is not healthy for anyone, just profitable for the people enforcing the lie.
It's time Washington listens to the cries of our children, the wails of their mothers, and the rage growing in the fathers. These are our children. Keep your damn hands off them. We are coming to act on the behalf of the children God gave us to protect, and you kidnapped.
In the heart of our great nation, where the strength of our communities is built upon the foundation of strong and loving families, an urgent crisis is unfolding. Child Protective Services, CPS, an institution designed to safeguard our most vulnerable, has in many cases betrayed its noble mission. Too often, families are torn apart not by neglect or abuse, but by systemic failures and corruption. We can no longer stand idly by as these injustices continue. We are here to give a voice to those who have been isolated, to shine a light on the corruption, and to rally our fellow citizens in this critical fight for justice. Every day, countless families are caught in a web of bureaucracy and abuse of power, their lives disrupted and their bonds shattered. Children, who should be nurtured and protected, are instead placed in situations that can be just as, if not more, harmful than the circumstances from which they were taken. Parents, often bewildered and powerless, face insurmountable odds as they fight to reunite with their children. This is not the America we believe in. We cannot allow these injustices to persist. Our mission is to educate, to inform, and to inspire action. We promise to bring you daily updates on CPS, exposing the truth and fighting for reform. We must remember that the future of our nation depends on the strength and unity of our families. By standing together, we can hold CPS accountable and ensure that it fulfills its true purpose, protecting children and preserving families. This is a fight we must not and will not lose. We are committed to saving our families and securing a brighter future for all. The road ahead is challenging, but with your support, we can make a difference. Together, we will bring hope to those who have lost it and ensure that justice prevails. Let us unite with unwavering resolve and a sense of patriotic duty to safeguard the integrity of our families and the future of our nation.
Child who has been torn away from their security blanket, their parents, the ones who stopped the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scrape their knees. Now just imagine how they must feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calm. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.
Whew. All right, everybody. Sorry about that. It was a little tough there for a minute. A lot of things happened at once, as usual. So, anyway, hey, I'm the CPS Punisher. I'm here tonight with CPS Victims Hunting Justice. It is 4th of July week, guys, and I want everybody to realize that we do live in the greatest country in this world. The problem with the country is the people that's running it. And that's clear to be seen this past week when we watch the presidential debates. We hear everybody talking about this stuff. What's important is this. The men and women that serve our country every day go in, they bust their ass, they don't complain, and we live under the freedoms that they give to us. These men and women never fought to have the children in our homes removed. That was never a freedom that was to be enjoyed by anyone. no politician, no caseworker, no judge, no guardian ad litem, no foster parent. We as Americans need to realize that enough is enough. So for this 4th of July weekend, this week, however you guys have it, just remember this. Our independence means that we all have the right to the freedoms that we were given by our Maker, not by our government. So make sure that you celebrate the true heroes of America and the true independence of America. That all being said, don't forget, we have our chat right here. And I got Melissa and Herbert backstage. Let's get them out. I think Josie's celebrating Canada today or something. We got Herbert. We got Melissa. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How are we doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Hi, Darren. How are you?
What did you guys think of that? Good. What did you think of that video? Obviously, don't give the quality an A quality for the standard of, like the lameness of it, but the words that were said in it.
But is it really lame? I mean, does everything have to be a 10 out of a 10 to really get a point across? Because it really is about the fact that these are the things that were given to us. These were the rights that we were born with. These are the rights that our families fought for. And they are the rights that we are being deprived of.
Absolutely. And I mean, the way I see it is our soldiers, our troops, everybody that was involved, in the armed services that every day go and put their lives on the line and everything, they're being affected by this too.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was going to say, is that the worst thing is these guys are coming back from 3 months, 6 months, something overseas, and their kids are gone. Because CPS is now hitting our military families as much as they're hitting our poverty-stricken families.
That's
because the house is unstable. It only has one parent.
Mm-hmm. And that shouldn't even be touched. Those men and women that go off and they fight wars for us, they should be protected. Not saying that they're any different than any of us as parents, but Jesus Almighty, that's just absolutely asinine that they're even in the eyesights of CPS. It's actually pretty.
Well, and the thing is, the military attorneys are not winning any better against them than our public defenders.
Right.
Which is sad that our government has instituted statewide organizations that are so powerful and so strong that our own government attorneys can't beat them.
I mean, if that isn't a wake-up call for this country, this next election that's coming up, I don't care if you've never voted, I don't care who you voted for in your past and who you've supported for as your president and whatever, we're talking about now, and we're talking about you need to make sure whoever you get to that voting booth and make sure that they, in some way or another, are taking down CPS, their funding, whether it's their program, whether it's whatever. Just make sure whoever you put in there, or either that, or you go find these people in your local political runnings, and you go tell them what you want to do. If they want your vote, make them work for your vote. You tell them what you want.
Well, I mean, that's what I was doing tonight. I was at our city Republican meeting.
Yep. No, I know you were out doing your due diligence. I mean, this is very important.
We had the state supreme justice. She was there, and then we had our state rep for our district.
I need to do something here in Maine for sure. Benny Torrey just wrote up here. I don't know if you see this, but he said that they found that the CPS director out of Portland, Maine, makes $108,797 a year.
That's what? Huh.
But with the rate of inflation and all the other crazy stuff that goes on, $108,000 actually ain't that much a year.
Oh, it's Lynn. I'm sorry, it's Lynn. All right, Lynn. So thank you for that. But no, but I mean, if you think about it, you're right. But I wonder if that's their base salary, right? What do they get after bonuses and kickbacks and all of that? Um, and I mean, and this is talking
So here's
the
what I remember from Michigan a few years back.
Mhm.
Because the individual workers themselves do not get a huge like incentive off each kid. Now the department makes money off each kid, but
Mhm.
I remember Miss what was her name? Damn, can't even remember her name.
Yeah, that's that
Anyways,
old
like
old time memory.
greatest worker ever. Like I won custody of my kids back. She straight out told me, Melissa, you're better for your kids than any foster we can find. And she even told me, she says, if your husband acts like an ass, because this is when I was married to the narcissistic doctor. She says, if he acts like an ass, she says, Melissa, I'm just telling you, whoop his ass, take your kids, and get the hell out of there.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was the kind of worker she was. You know, she was good people.
Mhm.
Anyway, she was saying that for every day she was watching over my kids' case, there was like an extra, it was like 36 cents per day that was directly hers. And then there was travel money, there was a certain amount of allotted bookwork money. So it's almost like I kind of think of it as a waiter's job, you know? How many tips do you get? Because you got to figure the
Right.
average worker's watching, what, 50 kids, I believe it is on average?
Yeah, probably. I would say around that. Yeah.
I mean, that's only like 25-ish cases, which would be on the low side for a caseworker.
Hmm.
So, you know, if you take 35 cents and you turn around and you times it by, you know, 50, that still adds up. That puts a pretty good little dent in your hourly.
And that's the facts, right? That that's the facts for sure. I'm trying to look for something here. Um,
I mean, if you're watching 50 kids and you're getting an extra $3.50 a day per kid,
mhm.
dude, that adds up. That's an
I
extra
mean,
$150 on that day.
let's talk about this for a second. What about the fact that when they start paying these foster parents and everything because they become employed by the state, what about their interference in their role as a I don't know, not ward of the court, but like they work for, they're supposed to be a neutral figure that's supposed to support the reunification process. But it seems to me like once they start getting a taste of this money, they quickly turn into they want to be a permanency home for these children, and how that's not being deemed.
I think it depends. You know, some foster parents go into the system because they really want to adopt a child. They're looking for the right kid. Okay. Then we got the other ones, which I think of as the slumlords. You know, how many kids can they get? How much money can they make off of them? And how quiet can the kids be while you're dealing with them because they don't want to deal with them?
Right.
You know, so realistically, I think it depends on the type of foster you actually have because there really is two types. You got the ones that want the kids, and then you got the ones that want the money.
I mean, you think that you should look at this as a job? Do you think?
Well, I mean, technically it is. You were hired by the department as a live-in babysitter,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And as a life babysitter, I mean, it's hard not to get attached to, you know, little kids. And I say little kids because predominantly the state likes to take 6 and under. But, you know, so It kind of just depends on your area. It depends on the motives behind it. And I do agree that the rules and regulations say a foster parent is supposed to be scheduling the visitations. The foster parent is supposed to be doing everything in their power to stay neutral and help reinforce reunification. They're supposed to pick up the workload of what the caseworker's supposed to, caseworkers are kind of doing.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you get a foster parent like mine, then they just want to steal your kids.
Well, and like mine. Hey, did you see that we have finally obtained some celebrity status?
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Do you know who it is? Would you guess?
I doubt.
Then I saw your quotes here. Let me get this out, and then but I want to check this out. Check who we have coming to the rescue of the voiceless.
Thank you. Chairman Smith, Ranking Member Neal, and members of the committee, I appreciate the opportunity to be here today to discuss how to improve care for the nearly 400,000 children that are living in the foster care system as we speak. While my experience was not through the foster care system, I know from personal experience the harm that is caused by being placed in youth residential treatment facilities. When I was 16 years old, I ripped from my bed in the middle of the night and transported across state lines to the first of 4 youth residential treatment facilities. These programs promised healing, growth, and support, but instead did not allow me to speak, move freely, or even look out a window for 2 years. I was force-fed medications and sexually abused by the staff. I was violently restrained and dragged down hallways, stripped naked, and thrown into solitary confinement. My parents were completely deceived, lied to, and manipulated by this for-profit industry about the inhumane treatment I was experiencing. So, can you only imagine the experience for youth who are placed by the state and don't have people regularly checking in on them? I attended facilities with foster and adopted youth, and I heard their testimony that they feel like they were forgotten, being shipped from facility to facility their whole childhoods. Today, residential facilities are continuing to warehouse over 50,000 foster youth and unknown number of adopted youth in lockdown facilities. Innocent kids who have not committed crimes, kids whose parents didn't have resources to support them, kids whose parents passed away, kids who have already experienced trauma. This $23 a year industry sees this population as dollar signs and operates without meaningful oversight. It costs approximately $800 to $1,000 per day to place a foster youth in a facility, significantly more expensive than serving them in their own communities. What is more important, protecting business profits or protecting foster youth lives? 16-year-old Cornelius Fredericks was placed in a facility because his mom tragically died and his dad was in prison. His life ended after being tackled and violently restrained by 8 staff members for nearly 10 minutes after innocently throwing a sandwich in the cafeteria. They killed him on the floor of the lunchroom in front of dozens of other children. Emergency services had been called 300 times in the year leading up to his death, with 56 violations substantiated by the state. The state could have prevented this. Josiane Terry's life ended at just 7 years old. In his final hours, he was publicly shamed, verbally abused, left in his room alone for nearly 6 hours, and physically restrained by staff members until he lost consciousness. When first responders arrived, there was vomit in his mouth and throat, running down his cheeks and onto the floor. Why can't we as a society see that these kids are hurting? They need love and kindness, not beatings and restraints. As a mom, these stories break my heart. When your child is born, your heart is full of love of all hopes and dreams you have for them. I assure you that these were not the dreams that were envisioned for Cornelius, Jasion, and thousands more who have suffered immensely. I am here to be the voice for the children whose voices can't be heard. While this committee has the responsibility to move bipartisan solutions forward to protect them, I strongly advocate for the reauthorization of Title 4B. Families need resources and support so they don't need to come into the child welfare system in the first place. For children who do end up in foster care, we cannot allow them to grow up in facilities. The treatment these kids have had to endure is criminal. These kids deserve to grow up in safe, family-centered environments. I will not stop until America's youth is safe. I've helped pass 9 state laws on this issue. I am strongly advocating for the federal bipartisan Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act. I supported the Senate Finance Committee report, Warehouses of Neglect, that validates everything those with lived experience have been saying. And I recently went to Jamaica to support and find appropriate placements for American adopted youth who had been raped, waterboarded with a hose, and held in solitary confinement in a facility internationally. Their parents had adopted them when they were young, promised them a better life, and then shipped them off to an international facility to be warehoused there until they turned 18. How could we let this happen to them? Progress isn't an option anymore. It's a life or death responsibility. If you are a child in the system, hear my words. I see you, I believe you, I know what you're going through, and I won't give up on you. You are important, your future is important, and you deserve every opportunity to be safe and supported. Congress, please join me in creating a world where all children have a right family, love, education, and the support they need. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Ms. Hilton.
If you're shopping.
So, I mean, that's pretty awesome. I mean, that's the first.
Well, what's that bill that she's speaking on that she's asking them to vote on? Did you hear her?
Yeah, it's the sorry, hold on. So it is the Abuse for the Children That Are in Custody Act. Let me see what it is. It's what's the actual name of it is.
Yeah, I think that's a bill we really need to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. Let me see if I can find the bill's name itself. But yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine? So imagine one of our kids. Well, imagine my kid, your kid, that came from a home that nothing happened to them, and they get stuck. They got ripped out of here. They got put into some home like that where they were beaten to death over a thing of milk. Or I mean, that did happen to you, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
You know. So. I mean, that's just, I mean, the ultimate fear is bad enough that they steal your kid, but then they bring them to just a pure hell. And no one thinks about this. No one thinks, I mean, yes, the pain and the trauma for us is unbearable and it sucks. And I hate holiday times and I hate all of these things that come through these times of year. You know, like, you know, this weekend should be barbecue and it's my birthday on Wednesday. You know, like, it used to be the best weekend of my life, having, you know, like barbecues, 4th of July, my birthday, friends and family and all that. And all of that's gone just from this thing happening to us. Like, there's no more of any of that, you know, because the family's been torn apart. Your friends have dissipated and gone away from you because they think you're a horrible human being, you know, the whole nine. And it just sucks. And, you know, and on top of that, you don't have your kid, you know, and no one wants to listen or hear. So, you know, like, that's just, you know, it's just the whole situation sucks. But then to have that on top of then your kids sent into some situation like this, it's just disgusting. And how they're allowing this to continue to happen. Like, there should just be a die-hard reason why they are. I mean, they need to read the oh my God, I'm having a Melissa moment now. The harm of removal, that study. Looked over and over again by the Baltimore University, the one that we talk about so often, because that in it says that even if you're abused child, staying there is better than the trauma and everything that you get from being removed from your home.
I mean, really, it is, because when these kids first go into a foster home, they don't The foster parents don't love these kids as if they're their own. It's
Right.
like babysitting the neighbor's kids. You know, it's
Yep.
kind of a nuisance. Then you get used to it. Then you become a little more fond of the child. But
Yeah.
not all these fosters are becoming fond of the child.
No, they're fond of
You
the
know,
check.
well, I mean, in Alabama, the check ain't even big enough to make it worth calling it a check. For
Right.
a standard care child in Alabama, it's $500 a month.
Wow. Well, we get Lynn on here. They did their research, and did you see what they get in Maine? What they came up with for those numbers? I just put it up there on the board. Check
I
this
was
out.
gonna say I know on
That.
Kim's grandson's case,
Look at that.
they're getting
That'd be-
$12.75 a month on him.
Look at this. We're going to see if we can get them on here in a minute and talk about these numbers. Yeah, it is. It's all about the Title 40 funding. But yeah, I mean, these kids, they need to really stop all of this. They're grabbing kids at such a rapid pace that I know it's over a child a minute now.
Well, and I think that's why we're seeing so many of these laws rescinded, and these U.S. Supreme Court cases rescinded. The Chief Justice Supreme Court judge that was speaking tonight, she was saying we had some big Supreme case come out here. So, of course, my ears perk up like, okay, cool. Is it something that, helps the kids?
Right.
And, what it really boils down to is while we have all quietly sat by, the world, the United States, other countries, we have all allowed this organization because of our willingness to be compliant and complacent. We have allowed these organizations to become so big that our own government can't control them. And I think a lot of these laws we're seeing change is because I kind of think that they're worried about a rebellion at a large level, especially with all the things going on with not having enough troops, some guys coming back, some more going out. They're now trying to draft the younger generation. I just wonder if being drafted in the younger generation comes with a litter box if you're a fur baby.
Right.
That'd be an interesting one to see. But I mean, there's so many, so many things going on that the system cannot continue to exist the way it is without it self-destructing. And what I mean is exploding in a way that is either going to cause a massive riot that they can't control. Our veterans are going to start standing up, because now we're getting to the point that we're taking the police officers' kids. We're taking the military's kids. We're taking the judge. We're taking CPS workers' kids. Because we are running out of poor families to harass. So now we're starting to go in and find the foster parent of harm and taking the kids from them after they've adopted them. I mean, we're literally running out of children to steal and manipulate. But one thing I was thinking about with all the kids in care, we always hear talk about the young children. And we hear about rebellious teenagers and we hear about young children. But how about the handicap early adult, which is still considered to be child CPS if they're under the age of 24? Where is the 19 to 24s that are handicapped with Down syndrome and all this other stuff? I mean, when's the last time you've ever really heard about any, child in that age range except for Ashley out of Louisiana, because they took her 23-year-old son.
Right.
So what's happening to those kids?
Mm-hmm. What is?
Because you
Where are
notice they're just kind of gone.
Mm-hmm. Well, wait till I throw these numbers at you. Because these numbers, so this is Children in Foster Care System 2021, okay? 606,000 total children served, all right? In care as of September 30th, this was 2021, 391,000, okay? Exited, 215,000. Waiting for entered, 207,000. Waiting for adoption, 114,000. Termination of parental rights, 65,000. Adopted, 54,000. Where are all the kids?
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that there's
Well,
an
and
awful.
see, those are still kids under the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the older kids?
Mm-hmm.
Because you never hear anything about Susie next door who had Down syndrome, who
Mm-hmm.
is, a little too handicapped to take care of themselves, that is
Mm-hmm.
22 years old and is stuck somewhere.
Mm-hmm. It's in a hellish place. It's not in anything good. Guarantee you that.
Well, no, because those are the voiceless. I think
Mm-hmm.
those are more of the children that parents patre doctrine speaks of.
In
Protecting the voiceless.
in
That is our
2000
voiceless.
in 2022, 21.8% of the U.S. population was under 18 years old. So, I mean, we're slowly losing and losing and losing and losing. I mean, this is just, but we're still taking. So if the population is still dwindling, why are the numbers still either staying the same or going up? Right?
Hey, why don't you look in why don't you ask Google how many kids are on the National Missing Children database
Hey Alexa,
for the current year?
how many kids are on the National Missing Children's database this year?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Oh, yes, you do. Alexa, how many missing children are there in the United States this year?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, according to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, roughly 800,000 children are reported missing each year in the United States.
800,000. I know that we've done the math before. There's almost 100,000 a year that go missing from CPS, at least.
Oh no, it's more than that.
I'm sure, but I'm just saying that's what they report. But then we found that report. Remember that said that. Excuse me. Sometimes they'll go even. So they'll go 3 or 4 weeks before they'll even report a child missing, if they even report it.
Yeah, but you just heard what that said. 800,000 every year go missing.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. And then we get another 600,000 every year that are removed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of kids.
That's 1.6 million, right?
No, 1.4 million, right?
Yeah. So 1.4.
But that's 1.5 million kids.
Mm-hmm.
Why are these parents not speaking out? Why is there not a parent to at least 1 million of them?
This should be a slam freaking dunk to get any person into office, into anything, because there's so many of us. There are so many of us. We gotta pay attention this year. Sorry about that, guys. I've been looking up stats. I haven't been paying attention to the wall here. Jess is on with us. Hi, Jess. Let's see. All right. So Lynn has texted me. I'm going to go ahead and get her. We're going to get her on here with us to talk about some of these numbers that she was just putting up there. Let me send her the link for the show here real quick. Yeah, I mean, because you got to think too, Melissa, this is a revolving door. They don't come back. I mean, they're not like they're just dissipating and coming to an end. They're like, hey, here's another 1.4 million kids again this January. Have another 1.4 million again.
Just for shits and giggles, on the 800,000 kids that go missing each year, how many are found?
Well, let's find out. Hey, Alexa, how many missing children are found each year?
From chess.com. According to research and experience, nearly all of the 500,000 children reported missing in the United States every year are eventually found, resulting in a 97.8% recovery rate.
Well, so here's the thing. She just said 500,000, but yet they just told us before it's 800,000. So they have a 97.8% recovery rate. Maybe with a 500,000.
Bullshit.
Yeah, you do that same math. You do that same math with 800,000. Then how many kids you missing? Right?
Right.
Because she just said a 500,000, but she told us before it was 800,000 were missing each year. So 97.8% of 500,000.
Yeah, that's still another 350,000 kids.
Yeah, kids that are missing. So it's I mean, these numbers are just out of control, and how we don't have more people out in the face of this movement getting out here and being mad.
Hey, Darren, do you remember, it's been some time ago, that I found that article about the fact that they found shipping containers out in, what was it? California. They found another one in Tennessee.
Do you know that all those shipping containers are linked to the Clintons? They own that shipping company, those box companies?
That and the Bushes. The Bushes were the original ones behind a lot of that.
I don't know. I just know that the Clintons were, whatever. Either way, it's still tied to all of them. This is what cracks me up about all of this. Anyway, what were you saying about it? They found another one, right?
Yeah, they found another one in the Nashville area.
Unbelievable.
Cheryl was telling me about it, and she said it was full of disassembled children.
Yep. It's disgusting. And everyone just turns their head. How is that so? Herbert, how do we get so many kids missing? How do we get so many kids with this atrocious things happening to them, and we're not recovering them? Where's the police on these, right?
Well, I think it has to do with the investigation or lack of investigation.
Well, but the police aren't going to investigate the department taking kids.
Right, because they're scared.
No, the police are going to investigate. Well, the police will investigate missing children. But you're right.
Yeah, but Herbert, most of the kids that end up on the missing registry are put there by CPS.
Should CPS report it to Lord that the kids are missing?
Yep. It's protocol that they're supposed to follow. They don't always do it. They'll wait a day or so.
If they report it to the police department that children are missing, then the police are supposed to follow up. As an investigation.
No, they really don't look though. Let's be for real about it.
Remember we did those numbers that time of remember we read that article about the foster system and they're jacking the numbers because in reality they're not even turning the kids, they're not looking for the kids because the thing is once you lose these kids' parents, who the hell is going to look for them?
Right.
Who's going to look for these kids? How are they going to know anybody's missing? Think about that.
Yeah. I mean, most of these workers don't even know that they have that kid. They haven't seen the kid in a while, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. Their check still cashes every Friday, so they're not,
Right. Right. And people are like, oh no, someone ain't just going to lose a child. But they do all the time. Yeah. Cheryl was putting up family photos. Cheryl from National Action.
Yeah.
She's got like 20 some kids over there. Like No joke. She's Brady Bunch times 2.
Oh wow, like her personally.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
they did photos, and I think I counted like 12 kids or something over there.
Wow.
But
Well, good for her.
anyways, her 2 of her older children, the worker dropped them off, and they just never came back. They never went back looking for them. And just like when we had when we had
Hey, we're off
uh
the air. We just got booted off the air. Again.
it says live over here.
No, my screen says leave. It says stream's ended.
Well, I'll
I'm still
reload.
here. I'm still
Yeah, we're
here.
still getting messages.
Weird. I must be in the Twilight Zone, man. Wow.
Hold on.
Crazy.
Let me reload my page and look.
Well, no, stay there. Let me go out and I'll come back in because you're still holding this thing up if it's still on. I'll come out and I'll be right back. I don't even know how I'm here right now, to be perfectly honest. It's weird. All right. I am back. There we go. Whew. All right. Sorry about that.
Oh, we got Lynn in the back.
Was really weird. That was very strange. Now we see everything live. All right, cool. That was really, really weird.
Hi, Lynn. How you doing?
Good.
Hello, Lynn. I'm glad that you're here. I'm back too.
We're both here. Actually,
All
this
right.
is Vinny right here.
So what do we got going? What do we got going on, guys? Talk to us here. What happened to your case? What's going on? What did you talk about? Maine's awful, right?
Oh yeah. So the numbers that I was giving you, okay. Bobby Joe Johnson from Portland Child Welfare. She's the director.
Yeah.
She makes 108,797.20. It's 189.9% higher than average pay for co-workers. Okay.
Right.
And 51.6% higher than the national average for government employees.
Dang. Yeah. Well, Maine doesn't do just bringing them in.
Okay. Now the detective that's on this case is making 61,572.47. And this is a 22.9% higher than average pay for a coworker, but 14.2% lower than the national average. Charles Dow, which was the one who signed the PPO as a notary on our case, is making 148,231.60
as a notary.
As a notary
and a judge.
And a judge.
Oh, and a judge. Right. Who was the judge? What was his name?
Charles Dow.
Charles Dow. Where are you guys? Are you guys the northern, southern, middle?
We're actually not that far from you, Darren.
Okay.
We're up on Sebago Lake.
Oh, okay. Yep. How long?
Well, 140,000 though for a judge is not a far-fetched price. The district judge down here, who is the most crooked individual I know, he makes I think 128,000 a year, and then the circuit judge is making right about 160,000 a year. And the circuit judge, his wife works as a clerk in the next court over, and she's making almost 100,000 a year. So
yeah, there's a problem there.
I mean, this is the child protective caseworker supervisor out of the Augusta office. Okay, she makes 65,991.75.
So apparently she's not favored by the corruption.
Elizabeth McCullen, which is the guardian ad litem on our case.
Oh, Jesus.
She makes 75,586.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 83.3% higher than the average pay for coworkers, and 5.4% higher than the national average for government employees.
Man, oh man. Do you guys have the national? Do you have the national average number for just a caseworker? Do you guys have that by chance? Like how much they make, what the salary is?
I don't, but I'm pretty sure it's within the millions. Because this other worker, Natalie, makes 44,677.74. The worker we just recently had made 59,973.30.
Yeah, I know they're all high here. They're all very high.
Their other supervisor makes 84,114,497.
Wow.
Their other worker made 59,997.64. And then our new worker makes 57,901.06.
So how many people is that you just listed off?
9 to 10 people.
Right. So you're talking, so your case alone, that's $500,000 in resources being used. If you look at it that way, that's $500,000 in resources that is being used on you guys for your case. Now, obviously, these people are being used in other places, but just think about that spending power. How much more money can be spent in better places than just screwing with you and your kid? You know.
Not only that, they had me thrown in jail.
Of course they did. Why wouldn't they? Let me guess: domestic violence, drugs, or what was the other one? Domestic violence, drugs, and
SA.
What's that?
SA.
What's that? SA.
It's the initials for it.
Oh, substance abuse. Yeah.
No.
Nope. The other one.
Oh, there's another one. What's that? What's that say? Melissa, help me out.
I can come up with a lot of crimes that start with S and A. So.
Would it be sexual assault? SA, sexual assault?
No.
Hello? Would it be sexual assault?
Yep.
Okay.
Holy smokes. And I'm going to go ahead and assume, since you guys are sitting there, that was not the case.
I'm out on bail. I'm on house arrest.
Yeah. Wow. And they had
my bail was $50,000 bond.
Oh, well, you're lucky, man, because I didn't even think Maine bonded people. But so that's a federal case then, right?
It's district.
It's district? Wow. So that's what's tied into your case?
Yep.
Wow. And who made the accusations on you?
My oldest daughter.
Wow. That's crazy.
Was that during an open investigation or just because she was pissed off? And I say that because I have an oldest daughter who she gets pissed off and pulls that kind of shit.
Because she was pissed off that I would not allow a 25-year-old man in my house.
Wow.
No, you should have beat his ass.
Yeah. So you're protecting her from wow.
And this is how I'm repaid.
Wow. That's
you know the sad thing. Let me guess. Over the age of 16, probably about 17.
She's 17 now. Yes.
Luckily, mine turned 18 last September.
She just turned 17 in November, and she made the allegations the beginning of October.
Yep.
I mean, clearly you guys are sitting there, you know, you're laughing about it, so obviously it's not true. What did you do? What do you do with your daughter in that situation?
Our two youngest are not with us.
Right, because the state took them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without a court order or warrant.
Hmm. Did they take it while you were in jail?
Nope, they took them way before that. We have not had our kids in over 8 months.
Wow. Man. Did you guys have, so you went through the 72-hour hearing. What was their reason for taking them originally? They just came in because of the accusation?
Yep.
Yep, because they thought I could not keep them safe from him.
Yeah, you couldn't keep them under danger. Jesus almighty.
Yeah, but the thing is Maine highly supports a abuser status living in the home. And the reason I say this is one of the families that I'm helping in Maine. The mother, the grandmother, when her daughter was little, her daughter was actually molested by the father, like truly actually molested. Had nightmares about it, molested. Okay. How about CPS allowed him to adopt 2 of his grandkids as a registered offender up in Bangor?
Wow. But then they'll put up false charges on people like these guys and take their kids from them.
Yeah.
Wow, man. I'm sorry, guy. What does the police department say to you?
They have no physical evidence whatsoever. It's all based off of hearsay.
Of course, because it didn't happen.
Right.
Why don't you demand a polygraph of her?
They keep saying that it's not admissible in court.
It ain't about admissible. It's about whether or not you. So it's not admissible, but it's kind of a character reference. Okay.
Right.
Reason being is you can go yourself down and say, I want a polygraph. This is what I want my polygraph on. And then you tell the guy. You'd be like, hey, I don't care how you create the questions, because it's 3 questions. You always get to ask 3 questions. I know this because I actually set up a polygraph for my husband because they tried coming after us with some crazy out there left field shit. Because of my pissed off 17-year-old. So when we went and did I took him to do a polygraph and I paid for it out of my pocket. No, it's not admissible in court, but it is a reference to character. And character reference is admissible. It's not admissible as evidence, but that man, when he comes in and testifies that he does 1,000 of them a year, he specializes in that, then it's much easier to get it pushed through. Just like, what are they doing on her for a psych eval? And I only say this because I'm sure they'll come up with PTSD and a bunch of other random shit where they'll try to paint the picture because they know it's bullshit. Don't think the department don't know it's bullshit. And Darren can tell you, I'm speaking from firsthand current knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
The department knows it's bullshit. The police department knows it's bullshit. But that's a way to access your younger children. They'll end up emancipating the older daughter out of it.
She can go.
Right. I mean, that's just such a terrible position to be in, like that's your own flesh and blood. But look at the hate and discontent and what they're causing for those 2 kids to be put under. How old are your guys' children?
14 and 4.
Oh man, that 4-year-old, poor 4-year-old.
Yeah.
See, they emancipated my daughter last year. Same kind of thing that you're saying. My daughter was telling them though that we were snagging homeless people all off the street to bring them here to rape her. But when we went to trial, see, we have a really corrupt judge. So when we went to trial, we actually, they turned around and admitted that they knew that there was no allegations. but it was just a way to get their foot in the door.
Well, you still got to go through the rigmarole. Now he's got to go through. I mean, I'm going to tell you what. The one thing that you don't want to be in this world is a man being accused of sexually assaulting a child. Like, that's a damn hard position to be put into.
Well, I mean, you look at, like, she just pulled up right here. Main issues reports details death of 143 children since 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And that was back in September of 2021.
Wow. That's crazy. So do you guys get to see the kids?
She does. I'm not allowed to. I was supposed to have video visits and never got them. They lied to me the entire time.
You haven't seen them in 8 months?
Correct.
You know that they're going to try to tell you that you
They're going to argue, yep, abandonment.
They can argue that, but I have every single documentation of every time I asked them to see my child, and they denied me.
Right, but it don't matter. They pulled that on Darren.
Yeah,
they pulled that on Darren.
Yeah, just hold on to that. And a good thing, you know, like if you got even a sliver of talking to them in there or anything, man, make sure you put that point out because they're gonna try to hammer you on it. Are you guys? How far along in your case are you guys?
We are still not at the point of. We haven't even had our Jeopardy hearing yet.
You haven't had Jeopardy yet.
Nope.
It's been 8
We're
months.
past the 120-day mark.
You know what? Can you guys reach out to me? Because Darren will tell you, I'm pretty good at a lot of these first laws. Darren's pretty good at these first laws, obviously, since he's in Maine. But there's some paperwork that if you guys can, if someone can go down to the courthouse and try to get a couple documents, I think I can help you throw together a motion to kind of, because Maine's got some pretty strict laws about things they can't do. And excessive delays like that, how long did it take to hold your 72-hour hearing?
That was actually about 72 hours.
Of course it was. It's the only one that they need. Sure.
Well, no, they held Christina's 41 days before they held hers.
Because they took the kids on a Tuesday, and we had the hearing. It was either Thursday or Friday of that week.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you get to talk to your kid 24 hours after they took him?
No. Well, I got to talk to.
That's another one that they don't ever enforce.
We got to talk to the 14-year-old because she had her phone, so she was texting me.
Yeah, they're
but
supposed
then
to within 24
she got
hours
admitted to Acadia, and I have her phone here with us.
Yeah, they're supposed to, when they take your kids, you're supposed to have notice with them within 24 hours. You're supposed to either speak to them, see them, or something. And they never do that. Never, ever do they do that.
I didn't get to see the 4-year-old until like almost 2 weeks later. And I didn't see the 14-year-old, at least on a video call, until I think it was like 3 weeks later, and she was still in Acadia. And then we talked on the phone like 2 or 3 more times before she was released. And then after that, they pretty much brainwashed her, and she wants nothing to do with us now.
Of course, you guys are evil, evil people. Wow. Holy smokes. So you haven't even, so what, if they don't have the Jeopardy over you, then I don't even understand what that means you haven't had any services requested yet or required. What are the guidelines that they've given you guys? Like, what are you supposed to do?
Parenting classes, safe, stable housing. I have a job. I had one, so that didn't.
But I mean,
counseling.
Prior to all of this stuff, you guys were all set, right? Like, you guys were fine, and there was no.
Oh yeah, I mean, other than we had family issues here, but
yeah.
Wow.
A pissed off teenager is hard to deal with. Trust and believe that. The court emancipated my daughter off last year while she was 17.
ended up brainwashing my now 20-year-old son into believing her too.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy how, you know, you could spend your whole
And
life
my whole entire family.
Yeah. Wow. And then your whole entire family probably is angry with you for staying with him and the whole nine. But like, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Seems like you probably have a pretty decent head on your shoulders, seeing how you're smarter than most. You're looking up statistics. You're doing things. And a lot of people don't even put that much effort into it. So I'm going to go ahead and
well, on that, Darren, I went even as far as serving them under Title USC 241, 242, and served them under color of law, and that's what got me arrested.
Who else was that happened to recently, Melissa? Oh, that Crystal. Once she filed all that, they came after her and they ran her to the ringer. It's crazy. There should be some sort of a protection against that when people start filing those federal court, those federal things that they don't get. There should be no whistleblower clause, really.
But it doesn't just stem with them, because I had to file one on the DA for leaking of information. I had to file one on their courthouse in Augusta. Then I had to file all the ones on CPS, and I just filed on the jail.
Yeah.
And the officer who arrested me, because he didn't read me my Miranda rights, and he didn't even go over the warrant for my arrest.
There you go. Good stuff, man. But still, here's the thing, man. Damage is done. Like, you're going to have to get out of that town. You're going to have to get the hell out of, you know what I mean? If you ever do get your kids back, like, you need to get out of that town. I mean, glad you called us, because, we do some things and get some things done, for sure. But, like, that's what sucks. There's no taking that back. Like, no one cares. No one wants to listen to it. I was the same thing, man. I was alleged of 17 felonies. State dismissed every one of those only after they terminated my parental rights.
Wasn't it like the next 2 weeks later?
2 weeks later. They based my entire termination hearing on the crimes that I was alleged of doing, found me guilty by adverse inference, and then 2 weeks later, after they terminated us, they said not guilty, or not even not guilty, we're dismissing you all 17 counts. So that's another thing that you want to be wary of, man. Make sure you get your ass out of that criminal stuff before you can hold off and let them. I mean, I know that's not really up to you, but do everything in your power. Don't let them terminate you and then let them drop them charges. You know what I mean? Like, that's I don't know how you can concoct that or whatever. I know that's a game that they play, but there must be something that can be done for that, because it's terrible. And the same judge that found me guilty of all the charges is the same one that dismissed all the charges. You know what I mean? So, like, come on, but hey, it's the game that they play. I just wish I knew us when I was in my case, because it's the dirtiest state, man.
That ain't no joke. I've had them retaliate me most of my life, and I tell you what.
You were in the system?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was in the youth center back in the day when it was the main youth center.
Oh, in Portland on Munjoy Hill?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. So you know what's up.
I know how they operate, and I've learned their ways.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're past our time, but I want you guys. Well, Melissa. I got their info, so I'll forward that over to you. But, like, I don't know. I want you guys to check in with us, man, and I want to hear what's going on with you guys. Check back in with the show maybe like every other week, or if something comes up that's helps or hurts you guys, get in touch with us so that we can see what we do. But I'll get your information to Melissa.
Hey, question. Your visitation things where you've made the request, did you make the request to the department or the court?
The department.
You need to make all requests to the court. The court is the only one that can make or break your visits.
Yep.
I don't even know how to do that.
Well, we'll teach you.
Yeah. I'll teach you to do a motion for visitation, because when they walk into the court and they say, well, he's made no effort, don't matter if you prove an effort or not, you haven't seen the kid in 8 months, therefore, oh well,
Right.
tough turkey, better luck next time, move out of state and have more kids. I mean, that the judge don't care. So, and the judge can't fix what the judge don't know.
That makes sense.
Hey, Herbert, what's that saying that you told me this morning?
I don't remember. Which one was it?
Oh, come on, man. I don't remember either. What was the saying? Hold on, I might have to read it down.
So what? This is the day is can't remember shit.
Yeah, it's CRS day 1.
CPS day 1.
It's,
Yeah, we've been watching too many Biden videos.
Herbert, remember it's like something about get learning, or you can't, what the hell was the saying?
CRS day 10. I mean, year 10.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, Darren, what I'll do is I'll have Lynn send you over the copies of
yeah, please
all
do.
all of what they all make. That way you get them.
Yes, please do that.
I have actually uploaded not all, a lot of our CPS files right to Google Docs, because I sent them into the thing that Malibu Dallas is doing.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's good. Good. That's good stuff. But we will definitely be we'll be in touch with you guys. So yeah, all right. Herbert.
Yep.
You don't remember what the saying was, bud? Remember
No.
it was going to be a slogan for your show.
No.
It was like get to learning or something. What the hell? Oh, wait a minute. I got it right here. Here it is. If you knew better, you'd do better, right?
All right. If you knew better, you would do better.
That's right. That's Herbert's slogan now. I think that's a good catchy one. But all right, guys. Well, thank you guys for coming on. I'll be in
Most
touch.
definitely.
We'll be in touch, and let's see what we can do for you guys.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right.
Man, another one in Maine, man. It's just awful. Maine sucks.
Well, and I feel extra bad for them because I know firsthand what they're going through. I mean, my daughter put our household through the same kind of thing because I would not let her shack up with grown men.
Oh yeah, the same damn thing. That's right. I forgot about that. Same damn thing.
Yeah, remember I was having predators arrested off my street because they were trying to pick her up for her little adventures. So.
Oh man. All right, Herbert. Last words, buddy.
Last word. Learn about CPS. Learn about the system. Learn how to avoid being a victim of Child Protective Services.
I thought you were gonna pull it out right there. I thought you were gonna just go. If you knew better, you'd do better.
I could throw it on there. If people knew better, they would do better. So that's why you have to learn about the Child Protective Services and how to avoid it.
Oh, wait, I didn't even see this, what Jess said. Check this, though. It's not about money only, it's about our children. I get the money aspect, but we have to fight for our children. If you talk shit, I'll take it. And she says, check this out. Trafficking, Darren, which everyone allows, the older kids are selling themselves. That's crazy. She's absolutely right. This is, that's just crazy. Man, all right. You know what? I think we should have a segment on the show. What is Herbert doing?
Sounds like he's eating junk food out of a bag of chips or something.
I was moving a bag. I was moving a bag.
Okay, what I was thinking, Herbert, was I thought you had one of those little plastic dolls that like collapse when you push the button. That's what I thought it was. You know
No, I was pushing up. I was moving like a paper bag around.
Oh. Yeah, well, I told Melissa this morning about our conversation. I thought I was so embarrassed for saying that to you. I was like, no, just get a drink.
Oh, from my water fountain. Yeah.
Yep. Oh man. Anyway, all right. Sorry, Melissa. Last words.
Love your kids. If you don't fight for them, no one else will. They'll just be victims lost in the system. Never quit fighting. Never quit trying. You are their only hope.
That's correct. All right, guys. You know what? I'm gonna go with this one right here. These are my last words tonight. I'm the CPS Punisher.
In the heart of our great nation, where the strength of our communities is built upon the foundation of strong and loving families, an urgent crisis is unfolding. Child Protective Services, CPS, an institution designed to safeguard our most vulnerable, has in many cases betrayed its noble mission. Too often, families are torn apart not by neglect or abuse, but by systemic failures and corruption. We can no longer stand idly by as these injustices continue. We are here to give a voice to those who have been isolated, to shine a light on the corruption, and to rally our fellow citizens in this critical fight for justice. Every day, countless families are caught in a web of bureaucracy and abuse of power, their lives disrupted and their bonds shattered. Children, who should be nurtured and protected, are instead placed in situations that can be just as, if not more, harmful than the circumstances from which they were taken. Parents, often bewildered and powerless, face insurmountable odds as they fight to reunite with their children. This is not the America we believe in. We cannot allow these injustices to persist. Our mission is to educate, to inform, and to inspire action. We promise to bring you daily updates on CPS, exposing the truth and fighting for reform. We must remember that the future of our nation depends on the strength and unity of our families. By standing together, we can hold CPS accountable and ensure that it fulfills its true purpose, protecting children and preserving families. This is a fight we must not and will not lose. We are committed to saving our families and securing a brighter future for all. The road ahead is challenging, but with your support, we can make a difference. Together, we will bring hope to those who have lost it and ensure that justice prevails. Let us unite with unwavering resolve and a sense of patriotic duty to safeguard the integrity of our families and the future of our nation.
Who has been torn away from their security blanket, their parents, the ones who stopped the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scraped their knees. Now just imagine how they mightest feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calm. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.